Hey guys, Brent Laser here, and I'm sure you've heard it from other YouTubers by now, but Seal of Orichalcos has been completely revealed, and essentially it isn't that great. Basically, I guess the general consensus is that it's meant for decks with not that much support. So I'm going to read you off the effect. I'll put the effect, I guess, in the description bar also, so you can read it yourself. And its effect is, all monsters you control gain 500 attack. Once per turn, this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. And while you control 2 or more face-up attack position monsters, your opponent cannot target your monster or monsters with the lowest attack for an attack. Basically that means if there's 2 monsters you have that are tied for lowest attack, they can't attack either of them. And when this card is activated, destroy all special summon monsters you control, and you cannot special summon monsters from your extra deck. You can only activate the Seal of Orichalcos 1 time per duel. So, okay, basically what that says to me is they want to support decks that don't use Exceeds or Synchros. One deck that comes to mind right away would be a Maleficus deck. That's pretty cool, I guess. You can bring out Maleficus Stardust or Maleficus, Cyber End. You would still need an extra deck, but monsters aren't special summoned from it, so they're not affected by that. But there's a lot of cards that bounce now, so I don't think I would waste the space for the one Seal of Orichalcos in my deck. I mean, I probably won't even run it. I would have to see exactly how it's used. Basically, it seems like, another of the general consensus is that Rock Stun is going to run this deck. Run this card in the deck, since Rock Stun just brings out big 1900 beaters that can protect themselves, basically, and then they gain 500 attacks on other 2400 monsters that you normal summon, and then you have backfield support and probably skill drain. So you just run a skill drain. Now your opponent's effect monsters are dead. Your opponents have to bring out something big really fast to compete with 24 monsters that your opponent just keeps normal summoning every turn. So that's kind of cool. I guess you could also probably run it in a gadget deck, essentially, that didn't just have an extra deck, that just doesn't have an extra deck. So you could run it in gadgets. They would become, various attack strengths. But you could also run it with Solidarity, and they would be really buff, with Machinas and stuff like that. But I just don't really see this card getting a lot of play. Maybe somebody would run 3 and then just use the extras for, discard cost fuel for cards like Double Spell or something like that. Just something that they need to discard for. I just don't see this card. I just don't see this card being very powerful. A lot of people are really hyping it up for these weaker decks, but these weaker decks are going to need more than a spell that you can play only once. Assuming somebody gets it back into your hand, that's it. It's a dead card now. You can't play it anymore for the whole duel. Once per duel. I'm not exactly sure if that means 1 round per duel or just the whole duel, but I'm going to go with 1 round per duel, and that's something like, Twin-Headed Dragon or something along those lines. That you just can't activate its effect till the next duel or till the next round. So, I don't know. I just don't really like Seal of Orichalcos. The cartoon version is broken, as is the case with most cards from the game. Card of Sanctity, that made you pick 6 cards, and that was your deck, and then you did all sorts of crazy stuff. And then the real version came out, and you had to remove everything you controlled, and you drew 2 cards. I guess that could help you in a pinch if you need to top deck something really quick, but not as good as the cartoon. So they tend to do that a lot. The God cards weren't as good as the cartoon counterparts, and then they made the real version. Slifer is amazing. I think Slifer is a good example of a cartoon card being made into real life and still being playable. Seal of Orichalcos, not so much. I think Seal of Orichalcos will see play for a second, just as a trend or a fad, and then will be forgotten, like most of the promo cards like that. It could work well in Rock Stun, but once it's off the board, you can't use it again. So I think that's kind of a wasted spot, especially if you run 3, because then the 3 you get, you're going to want to hit it as soon as you can. But I mean, like, if somebody has a counter for it, then that's it. You wasted 3 spots in your deck for dead cards. So basically, that's my opinion on that particular card. Another card I want to talk about real quick is spiritualism. Spiritualism is a really old card, and basically what it says is this card's effect and activation cannot be countered. Add 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls to their hand. That's like super anti Seal of Orichalcos. You target the Seal of Orichalcos, your opponent can't do anything to stop it. It goes back into their hand, the card's useless now. So I'm probably going to do a more in-depth review of spiritualism, but beyond that, yeah, that's one way of stopping Seal of Orichalcos. So in the comment section below, tell me what you think of Seal of Orichalcos. If you think that it will be a meta card, or if it's just going to be played for a second and then everybody will drop it. You can hit that like button if you like the video, and you can subscribe here on YouTube to see when I put out new videos, and thanks for watching.